Another month is wrapping up, folks. We appreciate you stopping in with us again today. I'm Marty with Warehouse and Operations as a Career. We've had several questions lately about the frontline management positions, so I thought we'd talk about what those positions are, and maybe I can share a few of the pros and cons of them with you. At least maybe answer a few of those questions. So last week I helped put together a lumper or unloader training program. As we've learned, in a distribution facility, everything starts here with the inbound freight, so what better place to start? An unloader or lumper trainer, although not a frontline management position, carries a lot of responsibility with it. As a trainer, we have rules, procedures, and reporting that have to be followed and completed before the job is really done. Now, as we've learned, training is expensive. Did you know that just onboarding an associate to the stage of interviewing can cost your employer well over $200 for each associate? So a new employee is hired and they're excited about their new job. As a trainer, it's important that they're given every chance and opportunity to succeed. Our company is counting on us as well as the new associate and his or her family. Let's look at a few of those responsibilities a lumper trainer will coach and instruct to for a minute. Actually, if you're presently an unloader, you're doing almost all of this already. It's your normal day-to-day activities. They're just kind of second nature to us as an unloader. Now all we have to do is make them second nature to others. Someone taught us, right? An important step, and it needs to be our first piece as a trainer, is to welcome a new associate to the team. Usually, HR and our supervisor will cover our company orientation and site orientation with them, and then bring the new unloader over to us and get them introduced to their trainer. Do you remember how you may have felt a bit anxious on your first day? Maybe, this person's never seen an 800,000 square foot warehouse or never dreamed of unloading 90,000 cases and breaking them down to 2,500 pallets before. Well, it's our job to ease those concerns, and as a trainer, we can do just that. Next, we'll do this throughout the first day, slowly and just as things come up, but we'll want to talk about and explain things like the scope of work and setting expectations. Tell them about the task. Introduce them to any equipment they'll be using and when and how to use the equipment. And of course, we need to make sure they know all the company rules and to never touch any piece of machine or equipment that they have not been trained and certified on. Next, we'll go over the lumping process, impact and risk assessments. We need to explain cases, units, splits, restacks. We'll need to explain all of those things. And they need to understand that some of those may be extra revenue for the company and sometimes more money in our pockets. Identifying bad wood is important as an unloader. We never want to put a weak pallet up in the racks. Things like double stacks and pinwheeled loads will need to be explained also. Another important part of training, to a new associate is we need to make sure they know how they're getting paid, either by hourly rates or some type of piece rate, maybe even by the load. We'll need to go over the attendance and tardy rules. Maybe most importantly, we'll need to make sure they understand the safety and best practices of the job and how to read and interpret the paperwork. They'll need to understand any required PPEs and the proper footwear requirements. What else? Let's see. They'll probably need to know how to read our purchase orders and understand how to use our dock space efficiently. And of course, we'll have to teach them to identify the product ID numbers, PO numbers, and tie highs on their breakdown sheets. Unloading is a productivity position, of course, so a strong sense of urgency and speed or staying busy is going to be a must. And I almost forgot about watching for mixed pallets and damaged products, reporting incidents and accidents, and our near-miss programs, proper communication, cleaning up our work areas, floor loads, logistics and non-logistics identifiers, and the expectations they're going to be held accountable for. It sounds like a lot when you're just talking about it, but it's the job. We understand it because we've been doing it for a while. And then, of course, at the end of the day, we'll want to review the day with our trainee, kind of a trainee takeaway moment. During the training process, we'll probably have the trainee and ourselves fill out some observation sheets, just so we can track our progress and recognize what we'll want to review the next day. Training is just repetition. The more we hear something or are shown something, the more we understand it. Remember, this is a productivity job, so although we'll be reviewing a lot of information each day, staying busy, accurate, and safe is what will make us the money. Review everything from day 1 on day 2. We'll need to make sure they understand the different kinds of unloading, breakdown, roll-offs, and floor loads, unloading inside the trailer versus outside the trailer, and how to stage product on the docks. On day 3, we're going to review what we learned on day 1 and 2. Now, by day 3, we should know if the candidate is catching on or, just isn't going to be able to do it. As a trainer, we should be communicating closely with our supervisor on the candidate's progress each day. Of course, we'll need to make sure we've done our absolute best regarding training, but productivity is a must with this position. Be sure to impress that upon our trainee. And now we've made it to day 4, and day 4 is a critical day for us. By now, we've committed to ourselves that the employee has what it's going to take to do the job. Throughout the day, as we're working, we'll review the procedures of the job and expand on its expectations and the safety practices. They should pretty much be working on their own by now. Again, that's our task at hand. If we're truly visiting with them for just like 10 minutes at the end of the day and talking about our observations, now that's not an hour-long report, but just a conversation, we'll know what we need to do the next day. So we made it to day 5. We're on the home stretch now. We may have 2 or 3 other trainees by this point, so it's important that we're checking in with whoever we have partnered him or her with to find out how they're doing. It's really important that we communicate daily with our trainees. You want them to succeed. If they succeed, you succeed, right? Today being our 5th day, we'll meet with our supervisor and present, our honest recommendations. Are they ready to work alone? Do they need just another day or 2 with another associate? We'll be using all of our short 10-minute observations to ascertain that kind of information. I've always felt like any type of trainer position is a great step towards our first lead or management position. We're going to be exposed to a little reporting, and we'll have some responsibilities thrown at us, and we'll be exposed to having others looking to us for answers. I remember my first position as a trainer. I was assigned counting shorts and midships, the warehouse side of inventory control, those kind of things. Anyway, the finance department had hired an additional cycle counter, and they needed her trained on the system and how to do all the paperwork. So I drew the short straw to shore the ropes. I honestly discovered training someone wasn't all that bad. It was a really good feeling when you know you've helped others with their career and taught them the right way of doing things. Real quick before we wrap up today, I want to share a few attributes a good trainer needs to possess. Patience. We'll be dealing with every skill level and every attitude under the sun. We can make anyone successful, though. It just takes a little bit of our time. We'll need to be a subject matter expert. We'll need to understand all the facets of the task that we're teaching to. I guess you could say the why, if you will. Next, we need to know the importance of being a good listener. You'll be surprised how much we can learn from our trainees just by listening to them. And lastly, we have to love what we're doing. If we're passionate about our task, it will bleed over into theirs. Well, there's a little on the trainer position. I know we talked about unloading today, but I think you get the idea. Over the next several weeks, we'll explore a few more tasks like the different types of leads and a few supervisor positions. As you know, we here at WAOC are pretty big on advancement and growth. I think we'll have a lot of fun venturing into the frontline management worlds. And of course, as always, should you have any thoughts or comments about today's show, shoot them over to us through email at host@warehouseandoperationsasacareer.com and we'll find you an answer. And remember that little @ WHSEANDOPS will get you over to the Facebook and Twitter feeds where you can find answers as well. And maybe post something for discussion on our Facebook group, Warehouse Equipment Operators Community. We pretty much hang out there throughout the week. Until next week, think about all the possibilities around you, and I hope it goes without saying to practice safety on every shift.